Well, good morning. It's Sunday morning and I'm at work. The reason for this, we've got a job vacancy here for a fully qualified motor vehicle technician. And I thought, what better place than to advertise than to you guys out there? You're all into cars. You might want a job. You might know somebody who wants a job. But I'm going to tell you this now, I understand that starting a new job is a daunting task for a lot of people. And you want to know a bit about the company. So rather than me just say, well, we've got a job, I'm going to give you a little rundown of how this company began and how long it's been going. And a little bit into it. And I'll show you around this garage here where I work, which you've probably seen before if you watch my videos. But the job isn't actually here. We have a second site, a car sales site, which is like half a mile up the road, which you've never seen, but I'm going to show you around up there, because that's where the job is. And there's a brand spanking new little unit being built up there, and it's all quite well kitted out. So you'll see in a minute. But first off, I'll give you a little brief description of how this company began. And I couldn't tell you what date this company was actually founded, but it was a lot more than 40 years ago. And it was one man, the actual main boss of this company. He started off with one taxi cab. It was a private hire cab, and he built his fleet up into half a dozen cars, and they were like Mark 4 and 5 Cortinas. I believe there was even a Mark 3 Cortina here at one point. That's going back some. And then the days of the Mark 1 Ford Sierra come out, and the Mark 3 Ford Granadas come out. We had loads of Sierras here, and in them days, I think the actual boss, he actually owned his own garage at one point, but then that got knocked down and a couple of houses got built there. But he used to, when I first started, he was renting out units to have the cars maintained and washed, because these cars needed to be cleaned. And back then, I can tell you now that the bloke at the council, he was on the ball. He didn't sit in his office. He would be out there walking up and down the streets and the taxi ranks. He would be checking the taxis, and if they were dirty, he'd be on our blooming phone straight away telling us to get the cars cleaned. So he was pretty strict back then. We don't even see a councillor these days. They just take the money for the taxi test, which is quite extortionate. And then that's it. Get on with it. But anyway, where was I? 1995 come around, and we bought our first 6 brand spanking new Mark 1 Mondeos. And from that day on until the present day, we've had nothing but Ford Mondeos here as taxis. And when I go back to sort of like renting the units out back in them days, it was 1998, I believe, that this garage here I'm in, he had built, because he owned the land that this garage sits on. So he had a mate who was a builder, and he had this big garage built, and this was built specifically to start off with to actually maintain his taxis. And that's what we've done ever since, although it has escalated now into MOT tests. We have an MOT bay. We do customer work if we can, although generally speaking the taxis are like the most important cars we need to get fixed. So sometimes we have to turn down work. It's just the way it is if we haven't got enough staff. Hence why we're looking for somebody else, because what's happening now is our sales garage, if we're short on staff up there, the work they have spills down here, so we're having to do sales work as well. And you can understand we need a group of mechanics here or technicians here to sort the work out. If we're understaffed, we tend to get a bit bogged down, because there is quite a workload here most of the time. There are parts of the year it does go quite dead, but generally speaking we're normally quite busy, especially with warranty work. Taxis always need servicing. They rack up so many miles. They can do like 10,000–15,000 miles in the space of 2 months, and that's quite a lot. That's a lot. I mean, most people wouldn't do that in a year. But anyway, I need to change the lens on this camera and put it on a gimbal, because I'm going to walk around now, and I'm going to show you around this garage quickly, and then we're going to walk up to the car sales, and I'm going to show you around up there, and I'll just try and explain things as I go along. Before I give you a tour, and I forget about the important details like holiday pay, sick pay. The salary is what's going to be the big one you're all going to want to know. I don't really want to put that information out over the web. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put an email in the description below. If you're interested in this job, give me a call on that email. We'll have a phone conversation. You can even come down and speak to me face to face, and we'll go through all these details and all the important stuff you need to know. But I will say, the salary here, it's pretty good. Compared for the area and what other garages pay, it's pretty good here. So I'm just going to leave it at that for the minute, but you will have to contact me to actually find out. So anyway, let's start off with a tour of Steve's private hire. Alright then, so I'll start off here in the main garage office. And all these folders you see down here, these are all Mark V Ford Mondeos. They're all taxes. No, I'm not going to count them. And through that door is where the office women are, where they do all their office work, accounting and whatever they do, I do not know. But under here, there's some more taxis. They're mainly Mark IV Mondeos under there, and some brand new Ford Transits. So now I'm going to come out of the office and just go for a walkthrough of the main workshop. The first thing out here actually is the air compressor. And that is a very, very good air compressor, and the actual receiver is up there near the roof. And I'll tell you something, if you've got good powerful air tools, that compressor will run them no problem at all. There's the toilet area and sink, and coming round to here we've got a Hoffman 4-post lift here. This lift has been here since like 1998. It's been one hell of a good lift. In fact, it's just had the cables fitted, which the blokes wrote on here, because you have to have the cables replaced every 6 years now, regardless. It's just one of these health and safety things. But the insurance people come out every 6 months and inspect these ramps, and anything that needs to be done gets done. We've got our trays for nuts, bolts, washers and all sorts. Engine oil 030 for the Mark V Mondeos and the 530 for the Mark IV Mondeos. There's an old oil tank here we don't really use anymore. Our 30-ton press, which has done us, I mean this does just about everything we need it to do. Yeah, we've got some like stands, we've got a couple of these hydraulic pump up stands. And this one here actually, this piece of kit, that's what you use to take gearboxes out. You strap the gearbox to that, and that means one person can literally lift the gearbox out without having to struggle. And this manual wind-up stand, this is a hell of a piece of kit. You can actually put that underneath an engine on a sump and support the engine while you're taking the gearbox out. This horrible stuff here is Adblue. As a lot of the transits we've got here now, they all take Adblue. Disgusting stuff. A lot of bench space, although it's a bit messy at the moment, because we tend to sort of like fling things when we're busy and they just get left around, but we have a clear up from time to time. These are our oil drainers. You can actually lift these up to whatever height you want to lift them up, and then we come and have these drained every few months. Light bulbs. What else have we got? We've got a Hoffman 2-poster ramp. Once again, very good ramp. Gives very little trouble at all. This has had new load nuts fitted a couple of years ago. That's about the most major thing that's ever gone wrong with this ramp. It's done very well. More bench space. They're all like aluminium topped benches. Very nice indeed. Very sturdy. Loads of trays of nuts, bolts, washers, electrical connections, any kinds of bits and bobs we need, wiring. And there's toolboxes, nice tiled floor. Comes out very clean when it's been mopped. And through into our little office here, vending machine. This is where people would come and get served. This would be where the customer sees. Can we help you, sir? That's our little notice board. And what we'll do now, we'll walk through to the MOT section. Before we get there, this heater It's been overhauled a few times, but wow, my God, this is one hell of a heater. In the winter time when it is freezing cold, you put this heater on, it absolutely blows out hot air. It is like the tropics in here, I'm telling you. You know, in the dead of winter, there could be snow outside and you're baking in here. It just it's very nice to have though. We've got our air conditioning machine. And then here, this is the main MOT bay. So we've got our rolling road, and this whole Krypton kit, it comes a package deal. It was fitted a few years back now, because our old ramp died and we couldn't get it repaired anymore. So we had this fitted. We've got our emissions analyzer, which is a 2-in-1. So we do diesel and petrol together. A welder, whenever we don't actually use that much anymore. Headlamp beam setter. And this scissor lift, this is absolutely fantastic lift. I absolutely love working on this without any posts. Absolutely fantastic. Oh, by the way, before I forget, over here we've got our 4-wheel laser tracking gauges. Very useful to have. And that's it. That's the MOT bay. And normally we'd have this place cleaned up once a week. We have some people who come in and do some cleaning there just to keep it tip top. And I'll work my way back into the main piece of the garage. So it's quite a nice environment to work in here. It's quite airy when the doors are all open, and there's plenty of room to walk around, plenty of place to actually put stuff. Although we tend to put so much stuff in all the spaces you can put stuff that we have to sort of like sort it out from time to time. And outside, in actual fact, it's actually chucking it down with rain outside. So I'll probably stay here. But that green garage down the bottom, there's another ramp in there, another 2-poster ramp in there. And that used to be an old car wash. But when the car wash eventually died and we couldn't get it fixed anymore, we turned it into like a store shed, but eventually put a ramp in it. But that's the tour of where I work. And so now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to jump in the van and I'm going to run up the car sales and just give you a walk around up there so you can see what kind of setup we've got up there. Mind you, saying I didn't want to come outside, I think I'm going to have to, even though it's raining. I've brought my brolly with me. It's typical, I come out and it was lovely. Now it's chucking down with rain again. But that's the actual main view of the garage from the outside, and there the offices at the front, and we've got like our yard here where you can fit quite a few fair old cars if they're parked upright. As I just mentioned, there's another ramp, 2-poster ramp inside that garage there, and in fact in the summertime it's quite nice working in here, especially if you want to get out of everybody's way, because you can hide in there and nobody will disturb you. Right then, I'm going to jump in my old van and we're going to run up the sales garage. And so guys, this is it. This is Steve's car sales. I shan't be out here for too long because the actual rain is coming down a bit now and I'm going to get soaked. But basically we've got loads of cars for sale, and what happens is when a car gets sold, it will come down to me where it will get MOT'd. If it fails, it will then get sent back up here where it will get repaired and prepped, like serviced. Anything that needs doing to it will get done. Then it will come back to me for a retest if it did fail. If it passes, then all well and good. And that's the purpose of this garage, to keep sales cars on the go, get them all done up properly. And also, I'll come to it in a minute, but there's a lot of Mark III Mondeos up here as rental cars. And these rental cars, the Americans rent them out because they're all automatics. And I think most of them are out at the minute. There's a lot of them, there's about 50 odd of them, and they're all rented out all the time. So they're doing well. We see we've got a lot of taxis up here as well. Because this is quite a big site, we've got plenty of parking space to put all these cabs in. Look at, we've got like 19 plate Ford Transits here as taxis. They do school contracts. and a bit of custom work. That's a smart old vehicle, isn't it? We've got an 18 plate Transit, and the rest of these taxis are just not being used at the minute. Some brand spanking new porter cabins. I think these are just used for office work at the minute. I'm not too sure what their purpose is, but yeah, quite a big area. So parking isn't a problem. In actual fact, you can fit a lot more sales cars here. I think the boss eventually will go out and he'll buy another whole batch of cars and probably fill this yard up a bit more. I will say one thing, with the cars that get sold here, they get most of them, if they're sold for over £2,000, they get like a year's warranty on them, and it's a really good warranty. That's why a lot of people buy these cars, because they got quite a good bit of peace of mind. That's one of the rental cars, Mark III Mondeo automatic. The Americans love them. And this area here, this is like the car wash. So we've got some people just constantly washing cars and keeping them clean. Right, now I'm getting absolutely drenched. I'm going to make my way round to the office. But this is the main unit. This has just been built very recently. Like double doors there, and there's 2 bays for where the actual repairs go on. So I'll come to that bit in a minute. This little building here, this has been here ever since I can remember. It's the sales office, and we'll go and I think the salesman's out at the minute, but we've got Monica. We've got Monica sitting at the desk, so we'll go and say hello at least. Good morning, Miss M. How's it going? Hey, just out of querio, would you like a job as a motor vehicle technician?
No.
What are you doing? Are you watching Friends? CCTV. All the latest gear here. I'll run you through a little office tour. This is like the back office where all the cars are organised. And then we've got like the boss will sit in here in his chair. More toilet areas in there. But yeah, this is the main sales office where people will come and do all the paperwork when they buy a car. Anyway, see you later. Right, and a few more vending machines if you get hungry, if you forget your packed lunch. There's a little valeting bay in here. I'll actually pop in here because we've got a Ford Transit. And actually this is going to be the company's Ford Transit. So it's just being cleaned up at the minute. But yeah, another little sink area. Microwave. Oh my god, mobility scooter. It's just another little area where you can clean cars and have a sit around if you want to. Right, what I'm going to do, we'll walk into the old part of the garage. Oh, look at that BMW. Isn't that nice? I think that's I wonder who owns that. Right, here we go. In actual fact, I'll just do the exposure bit because it's a bit dark in here. I've actually put the lights on as well. This is the main bit of the garage where we do like the tyres. There's a 4-poster ramp in here which you can do some repairs on, but this garage part here has been here for years and years and years. It's a bit dull in here, but we just use it mainly now as a tyre base. We've got all the tyre machine and wheel balancer, and we keep a rack of tyres up there of all like the main tyre sizes we need for the taxis. But yeah, oh, also, up on the roof, hidden up there, is a great big heater. And that big silver pipe comes down and blows out nice hot air when it's cold. And that actually goes through to the next, into the new build part of the garage as well. We've got a lovely brand spanking new compressor here. Actually, a very quiet compressor, I have to say. which is good because the one previous to this was very noisy. And this is the new unit that's just been built. And it's all been kitted out, once again, with nice benches with aluminium tops, oil drainer, more bench space. And then we come around to a 2-poster ramp, bend pack. They seem to be pretty good ramps. They do the job okay, and they've been reliable so far, so we've got no issues with them. See the floor's all nicely tiled, nice to walk on, and actually nice to clean as well, especially when you're dripping oil all over the place and antifreeze and God knows what. It makes life a lot easier if you can actually mop the floor quite easily. And then we've got a 4-poster ramp here, another bend pack ramp. Once again, it's been here for like a while now. Everything in here is brand spanking new. And everything's been working fine, no problems. But yeah, air lines that come off the reels. A drum of oil, or the most regular oil we use. So yeah, it's actually quite nice in here. It's a nice little working environment. So that's it. That's our little tour of the garage is over. I hope you enjoyed it. But now you see where I work down that other garage, that's where all the taxis are repaired. And up here, this is where all the car sales get fixed. And the difference is, up here, is that because there's such a wide variety of cars that are being sold on that forecourt, you don't know what kind of jobs you're going to get. For instance, you can get a head gasket one day, an engine change, you may have an automatic gearbox problem. And by the way, we don't normally get into problems with automatic gearboxes. A lot of the time we'll have to fill them jobs out to specialists because we haven't really got the technology. But if it's something that we can do, then we will look into it and fix it if we possibly can. But we don't take on every single job, obviously. But yeah, I mean, if you're the kind of person that's got a good knowledge of a variety of different cars and you're quite competent, we'd like to hear from you. I mean, if you want a job to work here, what I'll do, I will leave a link in the description or an email in the description below. You can contact me on that email, then we'll have a phone conversation, a chat. And if you want to come down for a one-to-one interview, then all well and good. Because we're looking for somebody who wants to come here and stay here. Somebody who's going to hang around for years and years to come. We don't want somebody who sort of like wants to come here just for 5 minutes then clear off again. So I thought I'd put this out on this video anyway, just in case, because I know a lot of you guys out there, you watch my videos, and a lot of you leave very, very nice comments. So thank you, everybody. So I thought I'd do this, and you never know. If we get one of you guys that want a job out of this, brilliant. You can come and work with me for a while. I mean, we're all very nice. We do try and work as a team. We don't sort of like backstab each other. We're all a good, happy little family here, hopefully. Well, most of the time we are, unless we're under severe stress. we might shout at each other occasionally, but generally speaking, we're like a good team here. So I'll end this video here. But anyway, I'll just say thanks everybody for watching. And if anybody want to get in contact with me, then please do so, and we'll be in touch. Thank you. Adios.